Last week's predictions? Ugh. Hello, Steelers Nation. Welcome to an episode of the Steelcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Steelers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Zach. Another late prediction video. How many times is this going to happen? Attack! And today we're back with another week 3 prediction video. Or just predictions in general, really. But for week 3 of the NFL specifically. And when you're seeing this, when it's uploaded, week 3 is already ended. But all of these are legit predictions that I made prior to everything starting. So these are all legit, and we're gonna know how I did once this video is out. So, yeah, this is gonna be fun. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right on into it. Before we do that, because I forgot to mention, I went 7-9 last week, putting me at 20-12 on the season, which isn't terrible, but it's also not great either. So let's rebound this week, shall we? Starting off with the Thursday night football game, you have the New England Patriots taking on the New York Jets. The Patriots shocking everyone week 1 against the Bengals, but falling short in their week 2 game. And the Pats, they got a pretty good defense. You know, they were playing the Seahawks, though. So it's like Geno Smith, you know, he's got a pretty good offense. The Legion of Boom 2.0 over there on the Seahawks side. So, of course, Jacoby Brissett had a little bit of a not so great day. But it still put up 20 points on the Seahawks. So it wasn't like it was a terrible day. And the Jets finally getting a win. Granted, it was against the not so good team in the Titans, but a win's a win. Whether it's ugly or not, you get the job done. You get the W. That's good in my eyes. And I'm gonna pick the Jets to win this one on Thursday night. It's the Patriots, and even though the Patriots did beat the Bengals are usually slow to start in like early on. So I probably just a fluke, right? Right? Yeah, Jets, you get my win here for this week. And it shouldn't be that hard. Hopefully. And speaking of difficult, we got our first Sunday game. You got our not difficult to predict, just difficult for a certain team. You get the Green Bay Packers taking on the Tennessee Titans. And for the Packers, it's revenge game after revenge game after revenge game. Willis has a revenge game, Matt LaFleur has a revenge game, and even their kicker has a revenge game. So, like, what do you want me to say? The Packers last week getting it done against the Colts, where the Colts really weren't doing anything on offense, but their defense wasn't doing much either. And Malik Willis was able to get his very first win as a starter because the Titans suck. And even though they had King Henry that he could just feed the ball to or run down their throats, couldn't throw the ball for the life of him. Now he can, apparently. And maybe it was just a change of scenery that Malik Willis needed. Maybe the Titans just weren't the right fit for him. I don't know. And I don't care. But I think the Packers can get the win here. They're going up against the Titans. And while the Titans' defense is good, is it going to be good enough? Because the offense of the Titans is not great. So Packers, you get the win here. And the Mayo Man does not look good. Well, at least he shouldn't. It's Packers defense. And they've been playing lights out all season. Then you got the Houston Texans. The Strouds taking on the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, we'll start with them, shocking everyone, starting 2-0 and beating the 49ers last week. And granted, the 49ers haven't had a win in Minnesota since '92, but we're not going to worry about that. Whereas the Texans, the Strouds were able to get a win last week as well against the Chicago Bears, which I think everyone knew was going to happen. It's going to be a good game of the 2-0 teams, I feel like. Might be a close game, might not be, who knows. But I'm going to predict it to be a close game. But I'm also going to guess that the Texans are going to be the ones that squeak this out barely. I think C.J. Stroud will put up the numbers. He has the team to do so. And while the Vikings defense is good under Brian Flores, I would know, I do think it's going to be enough. I don't know if Sam Darnold can get the job done against this young and very underrated Texans defense. So because of that, Texans, you get to win. Barely, but you get it done. And you move on to 3-0. If not, the Strouds will remember, and the scriptwriter will be done for. Then you have the Chicago Bears taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Bears, we just talked about, getting walloped by the Texans, and it wasn't even close. Caleb Williams has just been struggling. He's really just been struggling. Jaden Daniels has been outdoing this guy. And that's saying something. Okay, well, it's not really. It's the Bears. The Bears kind of tarnish all the quarterbacks they draft. They're not very good at building talent. They're good at elevating existing talent, but not building it. Which is bad for Caleb Williams. Very bad. It's like a Bryce Young situation. Jaden Daniels was more QB ready. Which was the more NFL ready QB. But Caleb Williams has the higher ceiling, but he's a developmental piece. It's kind of like a Bryce Young situation. It's not going well for them. Whereas the Colts, they tried against the Packers. Didn't go well. But all their games have been close. Regardless of whether you think the Colts are bad or not. All their games have been close. It's literally only been like a one-possession game all the times. So it's like they could eventually sneak one in. And here is where I think they sneak one in. They sneak one in against the Bears. Now, I will admit, the Bears' defense is better than the Colts' defense, but the Colts' offense is better. And offense is what's going to get the points. So because of that, I'm going to pick the Colts to win this game. And we'll see how this goes from there. Then you have the New York Giants taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Giants, well, they suck. Did not look good against the Commanders at all. They almost won the game, but their kicker got injured, so they had to go for 2-point conversions. If their kicker did not get hurt, honestly, they probably would have won that game, to be fair, to the Giants. The Giants' credit. But they're going to be against the Browns, and a very good Browns defense. Browns offense? No. Not at all. The Giants' strong point is their defense. Their offense is not good at all. It's like a battle of the very bad offenses and very good defenses. Well, the Browns' defense more so. Giants' defense has some question marks, especially the secondary. But if Deshaun Watson can exploit that, which I think he can, despite how terrible he's been playing, I think the Browns should be able to get the win here. Can the Giants win? Yeah. Would it shock me if they did? I'm going to be honest. Not really, because the Browns suck. But the Giants suck more, I would think. So, Browns should get the win. But if you lose, you're on fraud watch. I mean, you kind of already are frauds, but you get what I'm saying. And then you've got the LA Chargers taking on the Pittsburgh mother-loving Steelers in this household. The Chargers, they beat the Panthers last week with Bryce Young. We don't really need to say anything more about that. And it's the Steelers. They got to win against the Denver Broncos. Was it ugly? Yes. Did they almost let the Broncos come back? Also, yes. Notice how I said almost. Did they get a touchdown? Yes. Yay! Who was it by? Darnell Washington. So you take your pick on if it's actually a touchdown or not. The Steelers looking to go 3-0, and the Chargers looking to go 3-0 for the first time since 2002. Are they going to do it? I would hope not. Their coach, Jim Harbaugh, very good. Much as I hate to say it, the Harbaughs are actually good coaches. Herbie is playing on a knee injury. We'll see how he deals with that on the field. As for the Steelers, they got a few injuries on their O-line. Not looking too good for them on that O-line. And Broderick is really a true left tackle, not a right tackle. So if I'm going to be completely honest here, Troy Fautanu needs to come back quickly, and so does Isaac Selamalo. I don't know how much you can deal with Spencer Anderson on guard duty. So I'm just going to come out there and say it. Steelers win this battle. I'm a homer, as we know. So I'm not going to go against my team. But it's going to... I feel like the Chargers could pull this one out of their arses if they try. They could pull this one out of their butts if they try. They got a good run game and former Ravens running backs. So that's terrifying. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, Steelers win. And as they should. And we'll see how that goes from there. Then you have the Denver Broncos taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Broncos, you suck. You lost from the Steelers, which makes sense. Week 1 was just ugly. It was terrible, and no one talks about it anymore. The Seahawks won that trade, by the way. And then the Buccaneers, 2-0 to start the season. Look at you guys. Starting off with Baker Mayfield. Let them cook. And I'm gonna keep the Bucks at 3. I'm gonna keep the Bucks at undefeated. Bucks are gonna win this game. I feel like you're going against Bo Nix, and I don't know if I believe in Bo Nix, and I do know that Baker can cook. It's in his name. So Buccaneers, you win hopefully, and yeah, keeping that win streak alive. Then you play. Then it's time for the Philadelphia Eagles to take on the New Orleans Saints. Saints are actually killing it right now. 40+ points in 2 games. Who allowed this? And the Eagles squeaking it out last week. Actually, no, I lied. Squeaking it out last week the other way around against the Falcons, letting them come back. After beating the Packers week 1, not looking too good for the Eagles. If the Eagles lose this game, they're going to be on fraud watch for sure. But they need this win. And I think they can do it. They have the team to do it, to beat the Saints. But Derek Carr is playing like an MVP caliber quarterback right now, so it's going to be a tough one for sure. It might be a low-scoring affair. It might not. It might not, because both defenses are pretty solid. Underrated, but solid. And I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this one. I know I should probably go with my gut and say the Saints, because even though they're hot right now, but I feel like the Eagles are going to win the rebound. So I'm going to go with the Eagles to win this one. But if the Eagles, if you lose, you're on fraud watch. So I'm just going to say that right now. Then you got the Carolina Panthers taking on the Vegas Raiders. The Panthers getting every living crap smack out of them about the Chargers, and now benching Bryce Young for Andy Dalton, who is better. Definitely going to make the team a little bit better, but is it going to be enough to take on the Raiders and their defense? I don't know. Gardner Minshew has not been playing that well, but he still has solid people to throw the ball to, like a Devontae Adams. And he's hitting the ball to Alexander Madison. Not the best running back room, but it should be good enough to beat the Panthers. It's the Panthers. Like, come on. So I'm going to pick the Raiders to win. Will the Panthers be better this time around with Andy Dalton and QB? Yeah, but he's an old man at this point. So I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. So Raiders, you get the win here after beating the Ravens last week. Yeah, you kind of showed me a little bit that you can beat a good team. But can you beat a bad team? Because if you can't beat a bad team, you're going on fraud watching it. Then you have the Miami Dolphins taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The Dolphins giving to another concussion again in their loss last week. So yeah, that didn't go well. when they were playing the Bills Thursday night. And they're playing the Seahawks, who got a win against the Patriots. So nothing really needs to be said there. Now, I will admit, though, because the Dolphins had a longer week, they should be able to pull out a win here because they have more time to rest. But I'm actually going to pick the Seahawks here to win because the Seahawks have the overall better team, and they've been playing on an overall better than the Dolphins have. And I really don't see the Dolphins doing any good with Skylar Thompson behind center. So, because of that, Seahawks, you're going to get my win here this week. You're going to get my pick. And, yeah, you move on to a winning record. You're welcome. Oh, 3-0 record. So, yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you, guys. I got you. Then you got those San Francisco 49ers taking on the LA Rams. The 49ers losing to the Vikings in a very interesting fashion. Wasn't pretty. Whereas the Rams, well, they're so banged up right now, it's not even funny. The 49ers are coming in to LA to play the Rams, and the Rams played the Cardinals last week. They did win, which is good, but they got so many injuries on that side, it's not even funny. The Rams do have a chance to win this game, and it is a divisional rival game, so this could literally go anyway. It could literally go any which way. I am going to pick the 49ers to win this, because even though both teams are banged up, to be fair, both teams are banged up, but the 49ers are less banged up. So it's like we pick a less banged up team to win usually. And also the 49ers are the 49ers. So I'm going to pick the 49ers to win here. If the Rams do win, I'm going to be super shocked and it's going to be funny. But 49ers, you get my pick to win and you move on. Behind the Seahawks. Why are the Seahawks ahead of the division? I don't get it. I'm not complaining, but I don't get it. Then you have the Detroit Lions taking on the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals keeping it close last week against the Rams, but not able to get the job done. Whereas the Lions ended up losing last week, barely, but they did lose to the Buccaneers, and where Baker did bake, and they got baked. So they got they're hungry. The blue kitty go roar. So are the Blue Kitties going to go roar against the Redbirds? I think they are, personally. I don't trust that Cardinals defense as much as I should. But they've been allowing a lot of points. Now, the Cardinals offense has been getting a lot of points, but they've also been allowing a lot of points. So I like the Lions defense better than the Cardinals. So I'm going to pick the Lions to win this game in a little bit of a shootout. But I think the Lions get it done. They get it done. They stay on top. Then you have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Ravens on fraud watch right now, not having a single win, but keeping it close against the Chiefs and the Raiders last week. Not able to get it done against the Raiders, nor the Chiefs. Week one. So I don't know what you want me to say. The Cowboys, though, also on potential fraud watch as well. As while they beat the Browns week 1 and week 2, they lost to a playoff caliber team, and the New Orleans Saints. When they play real competition, they crumble. When they're playing fake competition, they destroy them. So it's like, what are the Ravens? Are they playoff caliber? Because they're not. Because they're playing like it, but their record doesn't show it. So I'm actually going to pick the Ravens to win this one because they are better than their record shows. And I do feel like the Cowboys are against a playoff caliber team, which the Ravens are, to be fair, to their credit. I think they do struggle against playoff caliber teams. So I'm going to pick which is why they always lose in the playoffs, round 1, because every single team is a playoff caliber team in that, and those 7 teams are. So Yeah, which is why they always lose round one. So never pick the Cowboys to win in the postseason. Never, never do that. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Ravens to win this one, and we're just gonna see how that plays out. I am gonna predict a closer game because the Ravens tend to allow closer games. Or at least they have their first 2 weeks. So I expect this one to be the same, but I do expect the Ravens to come out on top. Then you got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs, also like the Ravens, keeping it close between their first two opponents, the Bengals last week, but unlike the Ravens, able to squeak out wins courtesy of ref help, which is mainly why they've been squeaking out those wins, because of ref help. Although, to be fair, both of those calls that the refs did make were technically the right call, so we can't really be too mad at the refs for those. The Falcons, though, on the other hand, getting a win last week against the Eagles, barely, because Saquon Barkley forgot who he was playing for and dropped the football. So, yeah, Giants were happy. Once a Giant, always a Giant. But yeah, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs to win here because the Chiefs are just the Chiefs, and something tells me some ref help is gonna help them out again, or the Falcons are gonna do something stupid. But I feel it's gonna be a close game though. Like all the Chiefs games have been close, and all teams they've played have had chances to win the game. So I am gonna pick the Chiefs to win, but if the Falcons somehow squeaked it out, I wouldn't be shocked. Then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills in the first of two Monday Night Football games. The Bills actually doing good to start the season, despite not really having many of their pieces from last season, but it appears they didn't need them. Last week, besting their opponents and able to get the job done. And we love seeing that here in this household, being able to knock out the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars, losing to the Browns in a closer game, but you still lost to the Browns. So you guys are frauds. Because they're frauds, and you're going up against the Bills, why would I ever pick you to win? So Bills, you win, and end the story. I don't think I have to explain much. And then the final game, you have the second Monday Night Football game. The Washington Commanders taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The kitty goes meow. The Commies getting it done this week against the Giants, mainly because they didn't have a kicker. So I don't know how I feel about that one. And the Bengals losing to the Chiefs in a heartbreaker at the last seconds because someone decided it was a good idea to get a PI called on them. So, yeah, that player lost you the game, not you guys. You guys should have won that game. I'm going to be completely honest. Because the Bengals should have beaten the Chiefs, I'm actually going to pick them to win here. They're going up against the Commies and against a weak Commanders defense. So, if if the Bengals don't win this game, I'm going to be shocked and they're going to be put on fraud watch. There are so many on teams that should be good, but they're just not. They're just not. And they're getting blown out by bad teams. So because of that, or just losing the bat, not even getting blown out, just like losing the team that they shouldn't be losing to. It's like stupid. So I'm just going to come out there and say, if the Commies win, I wouldn't be shocked. I really would not. Gene Nelson's been playing really good football. And of all the QBs in his class, he's been playing the best out of all of them. So, again, it's a Bryson C.J. Stroud situation all over again. So I'm going to pick the Bengals to win, but if the Commies won, would not shock me. And that's my predictions for this week. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. What are your predictions for week 3? And let me know how you're doing in your pick'em league. Let me know. I am Zach Attack, your host on Steelcast. Like and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. My name is Zack Attack, and as always, you're in Steel's country.